Podcast, WATP.
I did a special mini-sode yesterday, and I covered some of the stuff that Stuttering John has been up to, but he did an episode after that last night, and John starts off, he's talking all about me, and he's talking about Kevin Brennan. He's very upset with Kevin Brennan. Now, I don't know what you know about John's feelings for Kevin, but he's in love. John wants Kevin's approval even more than you do. It's fucking crazy. It's weird to watch a man pine over another man's approval as much as John does with KB. It's not healthy in any single way. But John is feeling emboldened, empowered. He thinks that he's winning. I'm sure you've seen these, I don't know which Twitter account it is, but someone's going through and actually calculating all of the super chats that come in on all these shows and then posting who's winning and who's getting the most super chats for each episode and stuff like that. So some people are following that very closely, and John's one of those people.
By the way, do you give a shit? I could care less what people's numbers are.
No, that's why I don't talk about it. It's amazing. You'll know what I care about when I don't care about, because if it's something I don't care about, I don't talk about it. And I don't care how much money people make in super chats. It doesn't affect me in any single way. But anyway, John's excited about it.
I've been beating Kevin Brennan's numbers consecutively.
I think he beat. Okay, so you picked up on that too. Even Ray DeVito was like, "No, I think you mean consistently, dummy, not consecutively." But okay, let's. I don't want to nitpick.
2 days in a row.
I don't want to nitpick. Let's hear what he has to say.
Now, why? It's a few reasons. The first being I'm way more charismatic. I'm a way better broadcaster than he is.
Well, so far I'm on John's side. I don't know what you're...
Dude, it's crazy that John thinks he's a good broadcaster. It's so weird to me because, okay, you could just watch their shows. And John's like, I make more money than Kevin does consecutively, whatever that means. But all of the super chats that John reads, John has like 4 people who are on his side that are super chatting him. And then 30 people who just give him super chats to insult him. So the fact that John can sit there and be like, well, I mean, the reason why I'm doing better is because I'm just a better broadcaster. It's like, no, you just have way more haters who just want you to read their insults. How do you not know that?
Dude,
it's pretty obvious to everyone.
By the way, I'm going to get a text from John now that I've done this podcast. Like, why are you... Just the fact that I mentioned him. Why are you trashing me?
The last time you were on John's show, he was holding you captive. That was so ridiculous. You looked like a hostage on that show. He wasn't even interviewing you or having a conversation. He was just yelling at you and reprimanding you. He's an insane person.
The time I felt bad for John, though, I did see the clip where he thought Levy was gone from the Shuley Network. And he's just like grinning like he just won the Super Bowl. Yep. And to see the big reveal, and like I literally felt bad. I wanted to hug him. He was that fucking.
That was so funny.
He was like just watching your dad leave and never come back or whatever. I don't know. I just felt bad. I just wanted to give the guy a hug.
But it's great. It's great though, because Ray, so the thing about John, the reason why you can't feel bad for him, and I've gone through those phases as well. The reason why you can't feel bad for him is because he's got this weird personality disorder where he just changes the reality in his head and then makes it okay again. So as soon as it was revealed that was all work and Bob was never leaving the Shuley Network, John decided, oh no, actually there was a behind the scenes discussion and Bob was ready to leave and then Shuley had to double his income. He just made up all this shit that never happened and just said it like it was fact, and then he felt better about himself again. Actually, Kevin did the same thing when that whole thing went down. But what's crazy is that John goes on to explain the reason why KB is not good is because he just stares at the screen of his phone, something we've documented John doing numerous times. He says, Kevin can't even manage friendships, which is crazy because John goes on to list Bob Levy, Chad Zumach, and Pat Dixon as people that Kevin had a falling out with. All people that John's had a falling out with. John can't manage friendships at all. Noel Kassler, Hal Sparks, Artie Lang. You could go through a giant list of people with that. And he also says that Kevin Brennan's too repetitive. It's unreal to me that someone like Stuttering John could have that level of self-awareness where they don't realize that everything that they're saying Kevin Brennan's doing, he's doing, if not more so.
But you can't be in the Dabbleverse if you have self-awareness. It's never gonna. That mix is never gonna happen. You can't. Being in the
What are you talking about? It's very possible. It's very possible to do a show and have self-awareness. It's crazy how this works. So I was nitpicking him when I said, I'm consecutively beating Kevin instead of consistently. Right. So he probably just misspoke, right? Oh, wait, hold on. Right after that, he says this.
And I beat him again. I've been beating him 2 or 3 times a week consecutively now.
2 or 3 times a week consecutively. So they do show 7 days a week, both these losers, because that's the only thing they can do to make money. And he says, I beat him 2 or 3 times a week, which means he loses 4 or 5. And that's how he beats him consecutively. Does that make sense to you, Ray? It sounds like he doesn't understand how English works or math.
Consistently is the word.
Yes, that would be the better word, even though that would still be wrong. It'd still be wrong, though. All right.
Consistently makes more sense.
Yes. Makes way more sense. That's why I wrote down in my notes. He means consistently. Yes. Yeah. We both picked up on that, I think. All right. John's got this new hand sore. This is crazy right here. And his pit stains. Look at this.
Then we get to the Lady K, his big scam. Scam alert. Scam alert. Yeah, that's sweat. You like that? I sweat. I'm a man.
I'm a man too, but I can afford air conditioning and antiperspirant. Like, Jen, there's ways to avoid having really gross, sweaty armpits on your show. Just turn on the fucking wall unit in your shitty studio apartment.
Though, he's already regretting he did that, looking at his face. Like, he's like, that was not planned.
Whoops.
That was not planned at all. Like, now I'm like,
But
yeah,
did you see this?
That was more like, let me.
Did you see the sore on the palm of his hand, though? Don't worry, I got it slow-mo and zoomed. I got this for you. Check this out, buddy. That looks like he's jerking off with sandpaper. I don't know how you get a sore like that on your hand. How does that happen?
Yeah, that's a weird place. It's not like lifting weights. I just got calluses, even though I haven't lifted weights in a while, but they never really go away. But they're like up there.
They're up there.
They're not like in the middle.
It's not broken skin, right? Yeah, no, it's not from lifting weights. I can guarantee you that, Ram. I've seen John's arms. I recently saw John's arms when he was singing karaoke. It's not from lifting weights. All right, so what's crazy about this is I did a mini-sode yesterday. I went live on YouTube. I put it out on the stream too. Hopefully people have heard it. I think it was a fun one. I did it solo. And John was bragging about saving people's lives. And I commented on that and I said, has John talked about this before? And I've been corrected. Apparently he has talked about this before. But John now is going to go on to talk about how heroic he is and how amazing of a person that he is.
Getting closer to Anthony. And we were getting like 20, 30 feet of him. He's like, I'm going down, man. I can't make it. I'm swallowing a lot of water.
Okay. This story is bullshit. Okay. I'm just going to say it. I'll explain why. But he's describing this rescue mission him and this other guy did to save this fat guy who was out in the ocean or a lake or something and was getting pulled underwater. First off, if you're drowning and you're swallowing water, you're not going to start saying, I'm not going to make it, guys. I'm swallowing too much water. It's not going to happen.
Listen, I'm done for. Trust
guys,
me.
I appreciate you trying to come out here and save me. Don't bother. I'm definitely dying. You know what I mean?
Relax and let me say my last words. Let me tell you everyone I love, everyone that I met in high school. I'll go through the names like Lisa did.
Yeah. Are you writing this down? John, are you writing this down? I don't want you to forget who I said here. Mom, Dad. All right. So, but then listen to John's reaction to this, how heroic he is when this guy says, don't bother with me. I'm done for.
Listen to Anthony. And we were getting like 20, 30 feet of him. He's like, I'm going down, man. I can't make it. I'm swallowing a lot of water. I'm like, you fucking hold on, you motherfucker. You got kids. Yeah. And then we got to him. So I grabbed him, but I couldn't pull him up because he was so fucking fat. Every time I tried pulling him up, the whole fucking boat would have capsized. So.
Wait, did he save Chad Zumach? I wasn't paying attention for a second there.
The guy's too fat. Mark. He's saying his last words. John.
Yeah.
My family, tell them I love them. I can't do no more.
The way he's describing this, it sounds like this guy would be a flotation device, but okay.
I'll hold him here in my arms. You paddle back to shore. We'll take turns. So Mark would paddle until he got tired. Then Mark would take my place, and then he would hold him, and I would paddle.
So does
And
Mark
after
get any credit for saving the guy too?
No, only John. John is the hero in this scenario.
Mark's over here like, what about me?
No, John is the hero in this scenario.
That we swapped, we got back to shore. And there was helicopters there, and that motherfucker was on his last breath. But he was alive. And the ambulance came, took him to West Glen Cove Hospital. And he spent 3 to 4 days, them pumping his stomach, getting all the salt water out of his stomach, and he lived.
Okay, again, that's not how that works. It doesn't take 3 days to pump the salt water out of someone's stomach.
It's been 3 days. Hang on, one more day.
We got a little bit more salt water. We're just trying to get the rest of it. Thankfully, it's still just sitting in your stomach. I mean, it could have caused some harm to your system, but thankfully, it's still just hanging out there. We're going to get it.
I know it's been 72 hours, but come on. We're going to put in another 24 hours just to be
stupid.
Sure.
And he gave me and Marco his, I believe, Yankee tickets behind home plate as a thank you. And Marco, we'd always goof. We saved the fucking guy's life, and all he does is give us a fucking Yankee ticket.
Good joke, John. All you did was get good Yankee tickets for saving a guy's life. I guess he should have done more.
Yeah, what else are you supposed to? Do you want my house? Here's my house. Yeah, I mean, you did.
You want to fuck my wife? I'll film it. What do you want me to do? I don't understand. And by the way, the guy told him, listen, I'm done for. Don't even bother. So it's like, why does he owe you anything? He told you not to. What a fake fucking story. None of that made any sense. And then John explains 2 other rescues he did because he was bragging that he saved. This is the thing that I keyed in on that he's very upset with me about. I played the clip where John goes, I've saved 2 or 3 people from drowning alone. Which means he saved multiple lives, but 2 or 3 of them were from drowning. And I made the point, if I saved 2 people from drowning or 3 people, I would know. I would never not know that. I wouldn't be able to distinguish. Like, it's been 2 or 3. I don't know. I'm in my 50s. Who knows?
Was he a lifeguard ever? Was he actually a lifeguard? You see him coming off the chair like David Hasselhoff?
None of the scenarios he describes are him being a lifeguard. Because Joe Biden went to Howard Stern and said he saved 6 people's lives from being a lifeguard. And I thought that was crazy. But John's not even a lifeguard, and listen to these other 2 amazing
drowning
tales.
Everywhere he goes. Everywhere they go. I'm just
crazy.
not going on a boat with John if this is the case. Like, I just assume I'm going to drown.
Another time in the wave pool at Action Park, Class Action Park, an old man was drowning. And he looked at me and he said, I'm not going to make it. Now, I was a very good swimmer. I was...
Yeah, it's the same fucking scenario as the last one. The guy's just like, yep, don't worry, I'm not going to make it. You go on without me. Have a good day at the park. Don't worry, there's nothing you can do. I'm done for. There's nothing you can do to help me.
I was a very good swimmer. I was up to junior lifeguard.
To junior lifeguard.
I knew how to, and I grabbed them, put them like this, swam with one arm to the end of the wave pool, and saved his life.
I have a theory on this.
How many Yankees tickets you get for that one?
Well, we'll find out. I have a theory on this, though, Ray. I think John passed out watching that Action Park documentary and had a dream about him being a hero in that scenario. And now it's just like, yeah, I remember that. It's real. It really happened to me.
That was 2. And the other one was at Tobay Beach, where I noticed a friend of mine was not handling the waves and he was drowning, and I went out to save him.
Okay, so he knows all 3 specifically. And 2 of the 3, the guy's just like, John, don't even bother. I'm not going to make it. It's not happening for me today. I can't do it.
I've done all I could. I'm giving up on life. This is it. Just leave me in the ocean.
It's crazy. So Nero da Vinci says, I've been a fireman for 20 years. You know what I don't do? Brag about how many people I have saved because it's cringe. Yes, it's not a good look, John, to go around bragging about saving people's lives. It's really fucking weird. But John claims he doesn't need pats on the back. And Ray, this clip I'm about to play for you. If John only sees one part of this breakdown video that we're doing, I want him to see this part. because it truly demonstrates how stupid John is and the reason why the whole Dabbleverse exists in the first place.
I don't want awards. I don't want pats on the back. It's just in my nature. So I received so many letters, even when I was a school teacher. I've posted those, all the great, you know, thank you, Mr. Mullins, you're my favorite teacher, from parents and students alike.
This is how dumb John is. John goes, I don't need pats on the back. I don't need awards to be sent to me. I've gotten letters from parents and students telling me how great I am, and I post them on the internet to show everyone how great I am and to prove that I've done good things for people. John, you forwarded a fake email that came into you talking about how you changed the stutterer's life in England and how amazing it was. John decided to forward it to his ex-wife and children. So, John, just stop for a second and think about that. The very thing you're denying, you said you did immediately after that. I don't care about recognition. I'm not doing this for people to tell me how great I am, but I most certainly forward things that people tell me I'm great to my family, and I certainly post them on Twitter so people can praise me and tell me how great I am.
I mean, he's got my email. He didn't forward me that email. I feel left out. I wanted to see.
It probably went to spam.
Probably
went to spam. John, I know you better than you know you at this point. You have to realize that. You're a fucking idiot. So I want to thank @vitamin_dealer, Alien Melender on Twitter, because he found an audio file of John talking about this heroic rescue, the first one, from 2018 on his podcast. Listen to this shit. And by the way, John sounds completely different. This is from 6 years ago. John sounds like a different human being.
The guy was going down for the count, swallowed so much salt water that when we got him to the hospital, the doctor said he was within minutes of dying. But Marco and I saved him, and I held him. And the guy's a fat fuck, so I'm holding him on the side of the boat, and Marco's paddling, and then Marco's holding him on the side of the boat. We're taking turns, and I'm paddling. Finally, the helicopters came, and we saved this, motherfucker's life. And Marco and I were laughing. We didn't get anything out of it. The guy didn't even buy us dinner, the fucking cheap fat fuck. But we did save his life. But
now, Ray, is that telling at all that both time John tells this story, he talks about what he got out of it in return? Not the fact that I'm happy that I saved someone's life. The guy had kids. I'm really happy that I was heroic in that moment. You never know how you're going to respond to something like that. Instead, both time John goes, all we got was Yankee tickets. He didn't even buy us dinner. That's his takeaway from these events.
Yeah, I got in a car accident. I was in the ER. I didn't send anything to the doctors that were there. I didn't know I was supposed to. You
didn't even buy them dinner, Ray?
No, I don't even know.
You were in a horrible accident. You could have died.
I don't even know the names. Yeah,
and you didn't even buy these people. No. What about the nurses? I'm sure you got them some kind of gift or like a rock bottom sticker or something from the podcast. Nothing.
No idea who the hell they even were. Now that I think back, and no idea.
John is such a fucking asshole, and he doesn't even realize it. And I brought up the fact that he got this email, and everyone told him it sounded like it was written by AI. It was totally fake. It was just like, John, you're an inspiration. I had a stutter. I learned about you, and I've been following you, and you've changed my life, and all this on and on and on. It's just so horseshit. But John believed it because he wants to believe that he's a great person, and he talks about how he forwarded that email to his family.
Initially, I mean, I did forward it to my kids, and I forwarded a lot of those to my kids and my ex-wife because, I want them to know that their dad is doing, is doing good things for people. I don't see why that would be a bad thing. Skull!
So you do, because you just brought it up. There's no one there talking to you or raising their eyebrow at you. You just recognize the fact you're just like, and why is that crazy? Just because someone sends me a nice email and I forward it to my ex-wife and say, see, I'm not that horrible person. It's like, no, John, you don't realize that that's psychotic? That you have a personality disorder? That's proof right there that you would do that. You would even think to do that and then tell other people that you did that and then sit there and be like, is that crazy? I don't think so. It is.
Yeah, like you work comedy clubs and like you'll get sometimes emails back from the booker, be like, hey, great job.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you back. I don't forward that to my family, being like, "Hey, look."
No, you forward it to me, and I'm like, Ray, stop. I get it. You had a good set last night. It's enough.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I've never forwarded out that I did my job. Like, hey, there's a forward. Like, hey, just to let you know, I'm on the up and up over here.
One thing I don't have to worry about you doing is bragging. I never sit down and watch the Rock Bottom podcast with Ray DeVito and be like, oh, what's he going to be bragging about today? You know, that's never the case. But with Stuttering John, just the opposite. He's constantly bragging about everything.
I had the whole Conroy Arnold story in my book. And on Facebook, he backed the whole thing up.
Nobody cares.
Shit, one of the kids I helped out from Stuttering, a mom banged me.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, a long time ago. This is over half a century ago.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nobody cares.
I love that. I got to start incorporating that into the show more often. I actually put this video in here so I can just hit it anytime.
Nobody cares.
I love Lisa. She's the greatest. But John will just go on and brag about shit that, John, nobody gives a fuck about. So this is the big breaking news that we have to get into on the show today. John claims that producer Chris sent him an email. Okay. And John is not happy with producer Chris.
By the way, I've told John this before. If people reach out to him, assume it's a troll.
Yeah, everyone's told him that.
Just assume it's a troll.
Everyone's told him that.
It's not real.
You know, easiness to fake an email address, it's the easiest thing in the world. It's harder to come up with a real name on an email address because they're all taken. But John's such a fucking idiot. So this is why people hate John, and I'll play the clip and then I'll respond.
So Lady K asks his producer Chris, and I want to find producer Chris's last name. If any of you can get me producer Chris, Lady K's producer Chris's last name, please do.
Why?
Because I'm going to do a deep dive on this guy. Just like I did Moonhead, and just like I did everybody else. That's how I found out of all Bob Levy's DUIs. So please, if you know producer Chris's last name, let me know.
What a fucking asshole. This is John's reaction to anything. He's just like, all right, well, then I want to try to ruin his life. Give me his information and I'll send it to my PI and we'll ruin the guy's life. That's my goal right here.
Yeah. Do you also let your kids and wife, do this too?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Do you pull this clip from the podcast and say, hey, look at this is me trying to out some guy for doing something he didn't even do? Okay. So producer Chris isn't here today, and he's dealing with some family stuff. And I have to tell you, and I'm going to help you out here, John. I'll give you some information. You want some personal information about producer Chris? I got it for you because I actually convinced producer Chris to allow me to talk about this on the show. He didn't want to. He's a very proud guy, very private guy. But Chris's daughter, Brianna, has breast cancer. She's young. And she has breast cancer. And she actually had surgery today to remove it. And I'm happy to report back that it was very successful. And she's resting well in the hospital right now. And so if you'd like to help producer Chris, I know people love producer Chris. We all love Chris. If you want to help him out, I actually, there is a GoFundMe because his daughter, Bree, is a server and a bartender. She's going to miss a lot of work thankfully she has insurance, but just to make ends meet, she could definitely use some money to pay the bills and everything. So I created a link to Bree's GoFundMe, producerchris.com. Go to producerchris.com. And John, go on there. You can learn about Chris's daughter's name and her breast cancer. I know you love making cancer jokes. I'm sure you'll have a field day with this. I bet it'll be a laugh riot, John. And honestly, when I talked to Chris last night and I said, I really want to let people know about this. I think people are going to want to help you out. And I was surprised to hear him say, okay, I'll let you do that. I didn't think he would want to do that. And I'm glad he did. But that's before I even heard, is before actually this even happened, where John is out there going, I want to ruin Chris's life. Like, oh, okay, well, you're a piece of shit, John. You're a garbage human. And you need to know that.
And also, whoever did what to him, it wasn't producer Chris. It's obviously someone trolling him saying it's producer Chris. Like,
correct.
That's
correct.
That's insane too. It's like, assume it's a troll, dude.
Yeah. So let's get into this because this is why John wants to ruin Chris's life now.
So I get an email today from this idiot producer Chris, and he goes, Ha ha, we win. You lose. That Carl said your narcissism would force you to read this, and it was just a scam on you to prove that you would do it. This is the big Lady K scam.
No, John, you're a fucking retard. Trust me. If you got an email from producer Chris, you'd know his last name. His email address isn't producer Chris. Okay? The guy's a real person. He came on my show. He's my friend. He plays bass in the Isotopes. He came on my show. We called him producer Chris. That's, we have fun over here. You don't. So you don't know what the fuck is going on. That was not an email from producer Chris. We didn't set that email to get you. We don't give a fuck about that. We react to your podcast, John. We react to the shows that you do. We're not fucking with you in real life like you are with us.
Like
Very different.
Like that's his real email. Every time he logs into his bank account at Chase Bank or whatever, it's producer Chris at gmail.com.
Well, right. It's like, he's like I wanted to producer Chris's last name. It's like, it's Chris. His first is producer. Yeah. What about this? You don't understand. Look him up. Google it. You'll figure it out. So this idiot goes, all right, someone give me producer Chris's last name. I'm going to really dig into this guy because he sent me an email. He didn't. And how are you that stupid? How do you still not know that this is not? Oh, in fact, since I have this link, this is, again, that vitamin dealer guy posted this. I think this is from the same episode.
You're an idiot.
So this is him yelling at his ex-mod, Andrea Brower. And listen to what he says here. This is the same episode where John says he got an email from producer Chris, and now he's declaring war.
Andrea Brower, you're an idiot. She comes into my chat yesterday and claiming that I'm emailing her. Andrea, you're being duped. I'm not emailing you. I don't email you. You are blocked. You are being duped. Like a lot of people get duped. Look at the email. They added.
By the way,
I can't write this shit. If I wrote this shit, someone would be like, Carl, this is lazy writing. No one is this stupid. It's like when you watch those movies with the one-dimensional character and you go, well, no one's all good or all evil or all this or all that. You might be a simpleton, Ray, so you're maybe break the rules. But what I'm saying is no one would believe this as a storyline, that John goes on there, gets duped by someone pretending to be producer Chris in an email, and later yells at Andrea Brower for not knowing that people can obviously create email addresses that aren't them.
And also, I do like, isn't he calling himself now the Duke of the Dabbleverse? So he's like, I'm not the Duke. You're getting duped. And
you're getting duped. Duped with a P, Ray. Duped.
No, I know. But it sounds like he's like, I'm duped.
A number to my email address. They change it, but it looks like me. But you're too fucking stupid to know that it's not me.
Who's stupid?
I suggest you either get a brain or stop the false accusations. I want nothing to do with you.
Hey, John, this is a horrible comeback, but I'm going to tell it to you. I suggest you get a brain and stop the false allegations.
Is this the same? This is the exact same show he was doing the producer Chris.
Yes.
This is literally just minutes in between.
Ray, I can't make this. I'm telling you, it's not like that I'm creating these videos. I'm not Vince the lawyer. I'm not like changing what actually happened. This is all real. This is crazy.
Like,
you either get a brain.
I give him a little bit of a pass if it happened to be two different shows, but this is literally within
right. Maybe
minutes.
He forgot. Yeah, right.
Or stop the false accusations. I want nothing to do with you. I am not DMing you. Shut the fuck up. You're starting to irritate me. Calls Andrea Brown.
Yeah, so just so you know, John, producer Chris, who's a good friend of mine, also wants nothing to do with you. He would never reach out to you to communicate with you directly. There is no reason for anyone at WATP to talk to you directly. We don't like you.
And
you're
also
an unlikable asshole.
Also say, ha ha, got you, boom. Yes, because that's how producer Chris talks.
Yeah,
I know. On the power. This is clearly his
This is the other
dialogue.
thing. This is okay. Thank you for bringing that up, Ray, because I forget that these people are so stupid. Him and Chad Zumach. These people think that they're winning and they're getting over. And this is in my W column. And John was saying on this show that Carl will never get a W on me. We're not trying to get W's. We're not measuring things like that. We're doing a fun show. We host a show. So the idea that producer Chris would be like, yeah, so I emailed John last night to let him know that we duped him. Like that would never even enter into the realm of possibilities. Is that what we do on this show? We don't give a fuck. That's not the point of the show at all. Fucking moron. I don't care if you watch the show. I don't care if you know what we're doing. There was a time when you didn't. It was fine. We had a good time. Opie doesn't ever talks about our show. We love goofing on Opie. You don't have to fucking respond. We don't give a shit. Fucking narcissistic asshole. But this is it. Oh, actually, that leads perfectly into my next clip here.
So producer Chris emails me this. And I go, no, dude. You lose. I win. I said, let me just say something. I get tons of these emails just like this, text and letters that are very similar to the one you sent me.
So this is the winner now. He's explaining that he's the winner. He is literally talking about an email exchange between him and a fake producer, Chris, that went back and forth where he had to explain that he was winning and that we were losing. It's like, John, this is how pathetic you are. None of this was happening in real life, and yet you felt the need to not only report on it and out yourself as a fucking blithering moron.
And this is also at the exact same time his daughter is undergoing surgery and all this other stuff. But no, his focus is emailing, haha, got you.
Dude.
Never mind his daughter's in the hospital.
Dude, it's so insane. And my heart goes out to Chris and Bree and their family. Chris hasn't been himself the last month or two. It's been tough, man. It's a really hard thing to go through. And the fact that he still shows up to work every fucking day and we still do our thing and we joke and we laugh and he's at every band practice. It's a testament to just his fortitude, his ability to persevere and push through it. And the fact that John thinks that we're petty assholes who are emailing him about, we got a W on you. It's like, no, we're actually living real lives, John. We don't live in the Dabbleverse. We dabble in the Dabbleverse. We're not living in it. You're living in it. You're pathetic. It's really fucking bad. All right, I just have one more clip because, again, this guy at vitamin_dealer posted this. He found an old clip from Stuttering John's old podcast. And Ray, I don't know if you know about John and I have been going back and forth about guitar playing.
Okay.
John, for some reason, thinks that he's a decent guitarist and he's not. So he brags about that to me. But this is crazy because this is what he was talking about before he was talking about how he's the greatest guitarist of all time.
So, but then we got to jam. I thought I did a pretty good job.
You did a great job, and we put the video on Twitter. It did good.
Yeah, I did My Generation. I did Roadhouse Blues. Although the guy gives me this guitar, this guy Adrian, he's I think from House or whatever, and he gives me the guitar, and his distortion box doesn't work. I haven't practiced in so long. I can't play without a distortion box. I mean, all my mistakes you'll freaking hear. Right. So I'm trying to fucking get through it. And, I just told the other guy, you play the lead because there's no way. It's way too clean. I can't play that way. I'm not that good.
Oh, he's not good enough to play a clean guitar correctly. He needs distortion to try to mask his mistakes on guitar. That's weird because I play clean guitar all the time with the Isotopes. If you want to go to our YouTube page, I just posted a bunch of videos that we did from last week when we were playing live at the radio station here in Rochester. But John, you've been outed. You're not very good at guitar. You admitted it. Whoops, sorry. Fucking loser.
Who are these podcasts?